Hello, this is Wmpyr. Okay, so I was asked about improvised weapons, right? And yeah, look, this is not necessarily an improvised weapon, but it is a very good self-defense tool, and it is a Kubotan, okay? Not this model in particular. This is not one I'm recommending, but a Kubotan is something I do recommend. Put on your keys and just have that like for a self-defense type situation. But we don't start with this. We start with, as you guys know, this. So when you're going from something like this, or you could just imagine the movements, boom, to go from that then to something shorter like this is of course a training knife, you're going to lose a lot of power. So when you go to this, we rely more on the blade edge. Once again, practice with a training knife. Don't use an actual knife. Smart people use a training knife. And then when you go to this doesn't even have an edge. So it's even more limited. So then you're losing power. You don't have an edge. Then you really have to have your act together when you go to something like that. And this is one of the ways that I recommend, because you're gonna be mostly reduced to your body mechanics when you go to something like that. And this is the body mechanics that I recommend, is this steering wheel concept. Okay, so what this does is that if I move my right hand, my left hand has to maintain the distance. My left hand moves, the right hand, they're always like kind of following together, see? So this concept right here, we're also going to use for the legs. And I'm sorry you guys can't see the legs, but in a combat situation, I'm not going to be like this, right? I'm not going to be fighting like this. I'm going to be in a wide, much more wider base, a good stance, right? And my hands aren't just going to be like this. They're, right? So whether it's a self-defense situation or what, my hands are still going to be, they're not going to be like this. So same with the hands, same with the legs. And when we go to do our angles of attack, let me just go ahead and use this guy right here. So you learn with the sticks, 1, 2, I said to you guys asterisk, right? So diagonal, diagonal, and we go diagonal upwards, go side to side. You could go straight down, straight up, creating an asterisk. Now, once again, that is comes from the stick movement. We got to make that transition to this. So to make that transition into that, following the steering wheel concept, okay, it's going to be diagonal, diagonal. You see now I'm using both hands. Both hands. And you've already should have done this with the sticks, where you have double sticks. Sorry, this is a stick and knife, but double sticks, and you're doing this kind of swinging exercise, right? Boom, 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 boom. That's really what I'm doing here, but I'm applying it to the angles of attack. So if I go diagonal, you see the empty hand follows first. 1, 2, and then now going back, the bladed hand goes first, and then the empty hand follows, using that steering wheel concept. If I go side to side, 1, 2, right? 1, 2. So that is what's going to help me with the power aspect. Okay, so in a self-defense situation, I get my keys out, and I'm trying to get this guy off of me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. So I am moving with both arms, not just, this is more fencing, right? So you can see I'm putting my whole body in there, make it harder for them to grab a hold or handle me, right? And like I said, the footwork follows the same idea. Now, something I want you guys to understand is that for the combat situation, the legs are not like this, they're going to be like this. So then when I move, doing this kind of stuff, see, I just rotated the whole body. The legs are still the same width apart, which I am sorry you guys really can't see that here. And if I go like this, you see it's still the same width apart. Whether that was a diagonal down, diagonal, it's still the same distance apart. I go sideways like this. I decide to pivot. That was a pivot instead of a hop, instead of a movement like this, or I'm going this way. No matter what it is, I keep the same distance with the legs, just like I do with the arms. Now, in real life, in a real life situation, so what we're trying to avoid is this, okay? I'm trying to avoid my feet, instead of being like this, I want to avoid this, right? When does that happen? That happens when you're walking and you get stopped. So anytime you stop in mid-motion, you could end up like this, okay? So you could start in a wide stance in combat. The guy pushes you, whatever, and you could be moving, you could be fighting, throwing kicks, punches, whatever, okay? And then in mid-motion, you get interrupted. Why? Because they're fighting back. And when that happens, you could end up like this. And this is poor balance. This is a weak base. You're going to be in trouble. So you need to identify this and immediately be able to get out of this and come back here, okay? So the moment you end up here, in a combat situation, not in an everyday life situation, because we stop all the time. We stop and just stand and look at things, okay? We don't look at things like this, right? we look at things like this. So in a combat situation, if you ever end up like this, you have to be able to identify that, and you're going to be in mid-motion, and you're stopped like this, and you're going, uh-oh, you need to immediately adjust out of that, okay? So that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.